she's the kind of person who knows the team and knows exactly who from the staff has a bad day, and this is what makes a difference, because we're talking not about business but about hospitality. Ausra, thank you very much for joining us today.
Bună ziua. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me, FOMO, as well. Thank you.
So I was impressed. I've met you yesterday for the first time. And for the people who don't know, you're the GM of Marmorosch Hotel, which is an amazing mix of hospitality business-wise and, of course, a very good phenomenon and monument of Bucharest. Tell me a little bit, we're not going to talk about business because we don't like business. Hospitality is a very big word, is a very brave word, and people mix hospitality with business. What made you fall in love with hospitality, and what does hospitality mean for you?
Yes, you're very right, Maria. Hospitality is a huge word, and myself personally, when I really fell in love with hospitality, when I was a student, and as probably many students, during the summers or when there are some bit free time, work in as a waiter, as a bar person. This is what I did exactly during my summer. When I was a student, I worked in my uncle's hotel. And it's not about that the job I did. I was watching how my uncle is really providing the hospitality to the guests of the hotel, how he is remembering everyone who is coming, even sometimes having a hug, having personalized as well attention to them, the way how he was treating his team as a young student, as a young lady who wasn't sure yet what to do in life next. Even I was studying. For me was really amusing that this is something I would love to do, because the connection with the people, with the guests and with the team was something unique. I am people person, and then already I felt that this is really something unique. And that was first steps into hospitality that I fully fell in love.
I'm gonna tell a very different story. I went to Turkey for several times, 30 times I think. Okay. And their hospitality is something very interesting because they're all family-like and all friendly-like. Like, for example, we went in Bodrum in 1997, and when we came back in 2007, they knew us. They remembered us, and you feel like home. You're not feeling like you're in a business, but you feel like in a home. And I know that, for example, as a general manager, it's very hard to be hospitable with the people who come, because
absolutely, but I think this is where, not everyone can do that. You really need to have passion for that. You really need to be people person, because sometimes I am being asked, Ausra, how can you do that? How you can, even my team sometimes ask, how do you remember all the guests?
Exactly.
But I'm saying, how I cannot remember. They are our guests. They are coming to Bucharest, maybe for second, third time, or many more times. We are here home for them. Maybe it might sound cliche saying home away from home, but that it is. Sometimes coming travelers to Bucharest, they're staying in a hotel, and we are the first people for them whom they know in Bucharest. That's it. They walk around, they explore Bucharest, but we are the people at the hotel when they come back to their room, to the hotel, where they really feel we are at that moment their people. Sometimes it happens many different things. You might get sick during your travel, something might happen, any accident, incident while you're in the city that you don't know no one, but you do know the hotel team. And this is when we come in a connection with the guests. We are the first people to assist them, to be their contact. That is a very magic moment, actually.
I think hospitality is very understated, and people really don't realize how important hospitality it is, especially in hotels and in restaurants as well, because you always come for the experience, not for the money, not for the building. You come for how that place makes you feel. So what is hospitality experience in your view?
As I would say, especially the last few years, and when we talk with colleagues from hospitality, we say maybe this was a bit an impact of pandemic as well.
Yeah.
That before pandemic, like you said, of course the building is important. How expensive chair or the bed is or the table is, it is important.
Of course.
But what we feel, especially nowadays, that the most important is the connection between the personnel and the guests. Recently, we had guests from Germany who came to Bucharest for the first time, and I had a talk with them. And they said, look, Ausra, we do travel a lot, but we simply love your team. Yes, maybe they haven't put the teaspoon next to the coffee exactly how it is as per standard. But what really impresses us, the personality, the way how they feel proud working in the place of Marmorosch, how they are proud to be Romanians, the advices they give, the passion, simply the passion. Because yet there might be a waiter or reception that they will do a job exactly according to procedure, exactly what is luxury procedures, and as we say, but there is a lack of personality behind. And me as a general manager, for me, is the biggest compliment when I hear from our guests exactly that compliment, saying that the team stood out with their personality, with their different approach. And that is really something what is hospitality nowadays.
And that brings us to the next question, which is very important. We live in 2025. People who work in hospitality maybe are not seen like the most special people, the most important people, blah, blah, blah. We know that. How do you make the team understand what hospitality means and go the extra mile and put the passion in it? Because in the end, it's not just about the money.
Yes, and also when I arrived to Bucharest 3.5 years ago, especially this was still pandemic, hospitality, the industry was quite hardly hit. And many of us, we said, it will be very hard, again, people to convince to work in hotels, bars, restaurants. I was very lucky to see that in Romania there are many great, passionate people who really still want to work in hospitality. For me, as a general manager, as a leader, it's important that I'm always together with the team. If you have a team member who is passionate but doesn't know how, this is why I am there, this is why the rest of the managers there to show know-how, to really lead by example. And I have seen many examples that sometimes I see that my team, they slightly copy me, and I'm so happy because it means that they want to do exactly the way I do, because they see how the guests respond. I have more than 20 years of experience in hospitality, internationally, London, Eastern Europe, different countries, Middle East as well. And as I said, when you have passion for this industry, you do from heart. You don't fake it, you cannot fake it. Sometimes guests, they even written, on the forehead that you are passionate about hospitality. And the team around you, they really lead by example if they really want to.
So basically, you can say that you train people by passion and by example.
Absolutely. Examples are crucial. You cannot just stand in front of your team and tell how to do the job. You really need to share the examples, good and bad. You need to explain them why to do this or another way, because if you just tell how to do what, it will not be enough. You need to have lots of patience, because that is another extremely important criteria of leaders in hospitality, because nowadays it's also not enough to say once or twice. You need sometimes to repeat 5 times, sometimes 10 times. But if you have passion and you're really determined to get to the result that you want to achieve, if you really want to your guests come back to your hotel, you need to really be determined. And again, if you're passionate, no matter how many times you need to repeat, you just do that. For me personally, to share my knowledge and experience is the most enjoyable part of my job.
I have a very interesting question. I know it's a difference, but many people don't see it like this. What's the difference between hospitality and a great customer service?
Good question. Hospitality, I think the word itself says it's about customer service. You serve a customer. Hospitality, there is you put care, empathy. I very often say to the team, when you have a guest in front of you, you don't know, maybe this guest comes for the first time to hotel. Maybe this guest have saved to come to the hotel to stay for the first time. And you are the one to deliver the best possible experience. You need to treat the guest like that. Don't treat the guest as just another guest. And if you do that every single time, we will succeed. And I think this is about hospitality. It's more than just serving the customer, just providing the service. It's more, it's remembering, looking for clues, what else I can do for a guest. I'll give you quickly an example. More than a year ago, we had a family from US staying with us in our hotel with 2 kids, teenager kids. And it happened that a lady, the mother, her roots were from Lithuania, from where I am. It happened that next 2 days I was traveling back home. This lady, she has never been in Lithuania. When she got to know that I am from the country that her roots are from, I could see her eyes were shining. When I got back home for a couple of days short trip, in the airport I grabbed some Lithuanian chocolates for the kids because I thought this would be really nice for kids at least to have chocolates from their mother's roots of the country. And when I came back with those chocolates, her mother had tears in her eyes. For me, this was very natural. It wasn't that I needed to think what to do. It was simply natural because when you're a person of hospitality, things happen naturally.
I wanted to ask this question because from my point of view, any kind of business, like literally any kind of business, can learn a lot from hospitality in hotels and restaurants. If you can make a person feel good when it comes to a hotel, you can sell anything. Because it's an amazing experience. And that brings me to the next question. You sell luxury. You are GM of the luxury stuff. It's nice to go to luxury because we have hotels, we have standards,
Yes.
Crystal clear. What's that difference between luxury and memorable? What makes somebody to say jaw-dropping? Because 5 stars hotel, 7 stars we have everywhere. What's the difference between luxury and memorable experience?
I think this is memorable when we really treat every guest like individual, like not just another guest, when we look for the clues to create those memories. Again, after pandemic, we see, for example, our hotel is Autograph Collection by Marriott. It's a soft brand. Is very unique brand. And I'm sure many of you here today have visited Marmorosch not once. It is extremely beautiful hotel. It's not a usual, it's not a standard hotel. It has a great story, history to tell. And actually this is most growing brand in Marriott amongst 32 brands. So this is what it tells that travelers, guests looking for unique experiences. So we as hoteliers in Marmorosch, we have a great benefit having to tell the story to our guests. And what we do for our guests, we leave in the room a note to come to the bar, to the vault. We're inviting them with the number of the box. We have 3,000 original safe boxes in the vault. That is already intriguing to the guests. The guests come down to the vault. They need to find that safe box amongst 3,000. Of course, we're helping to them. Once they find the box, they open the box, and there they can find an ingredient for their cocktail. They need to collect ingredient, give it to bartender, and bartender creates, according to the guest preference, a cocktail. That is a memorable moment. This is what we try to do to create, not to be just as another hotel, to do exactly same services, procedures as other hotels, but to come up with something different. We know that kids very often are decision makers in the families where to go to stay.
Of course.
Even we are business leisure hotel, but I always say to my team, let's create something different. What else shall we do for kids? So we had golden fish in a small tank that used to be delivered to the room when we know that family with the child is arriving, with a little note saying from the fish, my name is Bob. I'll be your friend for a few days.
A living fish?
Absolutely. And the kids, maybe they have never seen the golden fish in the hotel. We had the family calling from Dubai once they returned back because the child wanted to ask how Bob is. And the parents said, we think we will need to buy Bob. So again, it's not about myself as general manager coming up with ideas. We as a team, we always come up with ideas. If I feel there is a moment that there are no creative ideas, we get together, we brainstorm. We need to be always a step ahead. What else can surprise our guests? So now we have a small turtle for our little guests. Because of course they're expecting something else from us. And that, I think, those moments are that nobody else have done, or maybe have done but done bit differently. Those are connections, those memorable moments when we really, as I said, read guests individually. And that happens at Marmorosch very often, and I'm very grateful to my team that we create those moments to our guests.
Before we take questions from the audience, you said all the nice things. We all say the nice things. It's very nice.
Absolutely.
But I'm pretty sure that in your so many years of experience, you had some bad moments when things went wrong. What went wrong, and what could we learn from it? Because
Yes.
that's the lesson.
I don't think without bad moments there would be good moments.
Always.
What I learned from a very early stage of working in hospitality is you never lie to a guest. You need to be always honest, no matter what happened. The guests, they see. The guests, they are very, they see everything. And I always say to the team as well, don't even try to create some story behind, because you simply need to stand in front of your guests, admit your mistake, immediately take action, resolve, and move on. This is what the guests will remember. This is why the guests come back to you, because you have been honest. The guests will not come back to those who started to create some stories, claiming a system broke down, claiming on other colleagues or somebody else. No, that is not the way. And I always believe that.
And what was the bad experience?
So it's about the bad experience that when the guests, there are many situations that the guests, didn't like something. And of course, nobody is perfect. But it's about really coming out, standing there, taking action. Bad experience can be anything. The guest is staying in the room, that AC is not working, it's extremely hot, tried to fix once, tried to fix a second time, 3 times, it's still not working. And as a team, we did not act immediately, efficiently. It happened that I had a guest already with the luggage in front of me, and I was not informed about the situation. By the way, this was not in Marmorosch, it was another hotel. And I just will finish. So for me, what left only to stand in front of the guest and say, I don't want you to move out from our hotel and to go other hotel. Because it means I failed as hospitality person. Allow me for the last moment to fix this issue. Let's do that. I will take in charge of the situation. It was fixed. The guests came back to thank me afterwards, and they extended the stay 2 extra nights. When I told this situation to my colleagues in Marmorosch, I know that they have done exactly the same, and the outcome was also positive. So it's important to share great positive practices.
Do we have questions from the audience? Of course we have. Do we have a mic? Please.
Hello, nice story. Yeah, very nice. So, you know the story of Ritz-Carlton, who empowers the employees, and maybe we can touch on the subject that you just finished on. So for everybody, they say that they empower their employees, their front staff, whoever is interacting with the customer. They're giving like a 2000 rule to solve any problem that a customer have. How do you empower the employees, because you're not there for every problem? How do you empower your employees to solve the problems that come up?
It's a very good question because, again, once hotel opens as a new hotel, the team is quite new, not knowing very well each other, not knowing the guests, not knowing the general manager as well, what is allowed to them. Yes, in Marriott we have great programs in place, as you mentioned, that employees are empowered. This is what we do in Marmorosch as well. And no matter, even if for us it's always like that, you need to fix the problem while the guest is in the hotel.
Not after.
You only call the manager when you see there is a need to call. It takes some time for confidence to grow. Myself, personal, time to time, I do those trainings to all employees. Sometimes then from the kitchen chef comes, from the housekeeping, from the bars and restaurants, and we talk about how to deal with the guests, what to do when there are situations. So it's continuous job, but to empower is extremely important. There is other side here that guests very often say, can I have a manager? Instead of saying, okay, I will allow you to resolve the issue, what you can do about. And I would encourage everyone, when you are a guest in the hotel, allow receptionist, a waiter to really help and resolve the situation. They are capable to do that. And if they succeed, it will give them a great confidence, because when immediately manager is asked for, of course, then the waiter or receptionist, they lose confidence.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Adrian. My team organized in the last 3 years 6 conferences at Marmorosch. And
Thank you for your loyalty.
Yeah, it's like in the last 3 years is the only place we use. So I really like the stuff. It's really every time I really like how do you manage how do you develop your staffs to be so nice, let's say, or to be so professional. Because they are also professional and also nice. Thank you.
Nice, thank you. It's, again, I think it's a complex of many things. Myself, since I arrived to Marmorosch, I do have an office in -1 floor downstairs next to the vault. But if you in Marmorosch, probably you many times will see me around in the lobby. I don't stay in the office. I stay always around the guests and the team. If I see that the team, they need support, guidance, feedback, maybe some training, I'll be always there, not only with them, but with their management as well. We are as one team. I think it's important to have a balance of being strict, being friendly, and being fair. And that doesn't happen within 1 month, 6 months. It does needs the time. At the beginning, for the team of Marmorosch, it was not easy to accept leadership like mine, being always around. One person said, Ausra, I worked in a hotel for 3-4 months. I haven't seen even general manager. You are every day behind my back. That was the difference. Now they understand why, and they really appreciate me being around. What you said, how we manage that, is result of entire team. And I'm great to hear that. Thank you so much.
Hi, Ausra. Nice story.
Thank you.
So what was the turtle's name?
We will announce probably soon competition for the name. So be alerted.
That wasn't the question, but I really wanted to know. So when you think about yourself, when you were over 20 years ago, and you're now successful, winning all the awards, you achieved so much, is this the direction you wanted to go? And what would be the one thing, if you could tell yourself back then, what you would say?
Yes, there was a certain time in my life that I asked, do I really want to continue in hospitality? Because it's not the easiest industry. It's a very hard industry to work in, because we do work with the people, with the team, with the guests as well. But when I asked myself, I couldn't even imagine working in a different industry, and I think that was the best decision I made to continue. So what I would say to myself those years ago when I started working in hospitality is simply follow your heart and your passion. This is what I did in the last 20 years. This is what I do today, and I hope I will continue doing that every day. Hospitality is a lifestyle, I would say. You cannot say this is a job. It is a lifestyle, and I'm lucky to have found mine.
And we have a last question here.
Hello. So there is a saying in English, is the customer always right? And what do you do when you have a difficult customer which abuses your employees? Which side are you taking?
Love both questions. From very beginning when I started working in hospitality, we used to say the customer is always right. Maybe not always I say it loud out, but I always had in my head, the customer is not always right, but the customer is your customer, and you need to take care. We had situations, and I would say in the last years again, becoming more often, that the guests are verbally abusing the team. I will be always standing with my team, making sure my team feel comfortable to work in professional environment. I will be the first one to have a very professional diplomatic talk to the guest. It happened not once. The guest was very ashamed and he asked me to apologize on behalf of him to my team. I said, I can do that, but I think it would be nice if you apologize. So I made the guest to come and apologize the guest because he was extremely rude to my team because my team didn't want to come back for work. So it is important because, you know, you cannot do the job without team, and the team cannot do the job without the leader.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ausra. It was amazing, an amazing dialogue and very good insights. And thank you very much for coming. And we finished.
Thank you so much. I love you there.
From the east to the west.